magic, money, and health. Those are three core subjects that can make life awesome. Magic is useful because it's the most efficient way of affecting change on what we believe to be the material world. Money is an energy we deal with all the time. I know billionaires who have the same level of happy and unhappy fluctuations as the rest of us, and I know of people who have a significant amount of debt, very similar. So how do we work with the energy of money so it can fuel our happiness and so we can get closer to that first spectrum of true significant financial wealth? Lastly, health. We're going to dive deep into health, into what health actually is, how to have perfect health, how to literally recover from anything. And as I share these, I'll share examples from my own life, points of credibility, points of reference for future study, and a little bit of tips, how to, and inspiration. So first of all, magic. So at its core, magic is three things. One, magic is technology we don't understand yet. So pretty straightforward. This whole thing that we're doing with video 1,000 years ago, 2,000 years ago, it would be magic. So the subtle vibes that consciousness is giving out into the world, whether you explain that through quantum physics or a mystical system or some other configuration or combination or otherwise, doesn't matter. It's magic. Use it. You'll find out how it works with my videos or some other way. Magic is something that it's just like gravity. It works. The best way to understand the simplest technique of magic is expect something to happen. Will it. See it in your mind's eye. Visualize it with as much clarity as you can. Thoughts are electrical. Emotions are magnetic. If you can maintain your focused thoughts in a stream of electrical energy and maintain the emotions of excitement, happiness, joy, and gratitude, these are all frequencies, yeah? Maintain both of those while holding a visualization, you bring something to your awareness. If that something is very similar to your current day-to-day experience, say somebody smiling at you at random, then you can manifest that happening. If it's far away from your day-to-day experience, like levitating that Ferrari, you'll have to do a lot of work on your rational mind in order to experience that. So the basic level 1 magic, level 2, level 3, levels 1 through 10 are working with things that your rational mind can accept. Working with the rational mind is something that takes a lot of other deep diving into your life as a whole. So with the topics of money and with the topics of health, let's do that right now. So what is money? I've had a lot of downloads, channels, transmissions on this, and money is, like everything, energy. If you have any energetic sensitivity, I encourage you to take a dollar bill, ideally the highest amount of money, the most cash that you can get your hands on legally, whether it's a bank envelope you keep at home for emergency purposes, or a buck in your wallet, or a few coins, and if you don't have access to anything, a credit card, something that physically embodies money. Tune into it, feel its aura, feel its resonance, and see if you can notice, especially as you pull it away and toward from your heart or your third eye, wherever you have more access. See if you can feel it. See if you can tap into it. Think of an organization that has a ton of money, Goldman Sachs, a governmental treasury, a company you admire that is really, really big, and see if you can feel and notice its money field. Now think of an individual who is homeless or in a lot of debt and is vocal about it. See if you can track that money field, which will be significantly different, will be a bit lower. This is how to attune yourself to the subtle energy of money. If you don't have that sensitivity, no problem. Take my word for it and also realize that as money energetically comes in, there is more of that type of energy represented by the physical presence of dollars, of rubles, of yen, of whatever type of way of measuring that energy. Just so you can measure electrical energy by how many watts something requires to run, or that these lights require to put out, you can measure the energy of money extremely easily by counting it. So what does it mean to attract or repel the energy of money? Well, I learned this in my first money ritual. I had an $88,000 contract for something I was really hoping would go through, but I was told that in no uncertain terms, the contract was denied. So in about an hour and a half, I did a very deep, powerful ritual working with Lakshmi, the goddess of wealth, feeling the subtle energy of money, and doing a few other tools and techniques I'll be sharing in future videos and future classes. And I worked with my money field to see why I was repelling money, and I essentially attracted money with the intentions and thoughts and hopes of that contract coming through. few days later, I received an unexpected call. The decision was reversed. It went through, and a lump sum payment was coming through in the mail and would have been sent like 2 days later. I received it. I received monthly payments after until the contract was up. It was pretty awesome. So rationally as well, I realized that I was repelling money, that that contract had originally been denied because I was holding beliefs that I'm not good enough. I'm not worth it. I didn't do enough. Maybe I filled out a form incorrectly. Maybe I misrepresented myself. Maybe I represented myself in a way that wasn't in alignment with that organization's goals. So money isn't just energy. If it were, you could just snap your fingers, do some bibbly boo, and money would show up. And when you're a level 100 sorcerer, that can work. But most of you watching are not a level 100 sorcerer, which is totally fine because you're on your way there. And so to engage the rational mind, to engage with three-dimensional reality, you have to work with your money beliefs. Do you have money trauma in the past when money was stolen from you? Money was lost. Maybe you got fired from a job. Maybe your parents or early childhood friends or even your current environment is sharing beliefs that money is evil, wanting money is greedy, there's not enough money. Things like that work with repelling the energy of money. So you got to get with those, my friend, and you got to really see, do you want to hold those in your vibration and space? Because if you do, they will repel that energy of money. Life inherently only has the meaning we attribute to it. If you attribute negative beliefs and beliefs that you do not want something or that something is bad and that you are good, you will push that away from you. So for very practical steps you can take, there's a fantastic book called Tapping into Wealth. It uses EFT with money baggage. So that time when you were young and money was tight or you had a negative experience related to the lack of money or abundance, depending on your situation, think that, feel the emotions it brings up, tap and release. What this does is that takes the cortisol stored inside you side by side with whatever subconscious belief took root or formed or was part of that event, and it releases it. So tapping into wealth will guide you and your rational mind through many, many exercises through your past and your present to see what's your money programming, what's your sense of self-worth, which is related to how much money you make right now, how much money you have in the bank and or owe, along with any other factor related to money that you can conceive of. There's people in this world who have the exact same level of skill and intelligence, yet one is making a lot more than the other. And they may justify it for different reasons, but in my humble opinion, and I've studied this for a long time, and I've had large amounts of money coming in running $5 million companies, and I've had lots of money going out with my various pursuits, passion, education, and the bills it takes to run a company, to really, really know and understand this energy on a material and esoteric deep level. Once you're through with tapping into wealth, which I recommend as a prerequisite, I highly, highly strongly recommend the book Money and the Law of Attraction by Esther Hicks. Esther Hicks is like the godmother of the 21st century law of attraction understandings. This law has been around for eternity, so she has no claim to it, but she does have a copyright claim to that book, and that's a fantastic book. That book works with the esoteric nature of money, how you attract it, how you repel it, in line with your thoughts. And one sentence, one idea from that book that I've seen and heard echoes in many, many others, and in my own life, is that what you believe, you receive. Now, if you're like, that's cliche, I've heard that, well, don't dismiss it, because cliches exist throughout time. If you have a cliche and it's around and it's hanging out, you may have a judgment, you may have a thought like, oh, I heard that before, that's not new. But that's a dismissive thought, and the idea will lose power and go away. But if you take a second and say, wow, this thought has existed throughout time, let me explore it and really see and understand it and maybe gain control of it, then that very idea becomes yours. And what you truly believe, my friend, you will receive. You will experience it. And in my knowing, we have belief, we have hope, we have faith, and we have knowledge. So belief is the very seed root of manifestation. I know I have a hand, thus my hand is here. If I could get to a state of knowing that my hand were a claw or a wing, it would shift. And if you haven't seen the movie Lucy, gotta get better at this, right there with Scarlett Johansson, it's a fantastic movie where in the climax of that movie, where she has all her superhuman powers, she explains this in excellent, excellent detail. So if you believe you have to set plans and set goals and do things in the world to receive $1,000, then that belief will affect your actions and your experience and that money coming in. The opposite is also true. I was really, really working on manifesting finding money in a parking lot, just like anonymous pile of cash that I could keep with an okay conscience and like full gratitude. And I was holding that so much, and I did a bit of magic work, which includes releasing and non-attachment, and forgot about it, as is ideal in many types of manifestation spells. A few days later, I was in Santa Cruz. I was in the parking lot of Whole Foods. I was walking back to my car. I saw a leather wallet. I didn't see any identifying information. I saw about $1,000. I took that money. I'm like, thank you. This is awesome. And boom, manifestation happened. So while that was really, really cool, I rationally don't believe I can do that every single day, or I would have. And I would have a much bigger, nicer studio than this. No, I love the studio. It's fine. It's actually really perfect. So, and even me saying that betrays that I believe I'm worth more, which betrays the idea that this isn't good enough, which betrays, or in this sense, the word betrayal is unveiling a belief that I'm not good enough or I'm not worth that. And it's okay. Like you, I'm a fellow student. I just happen to be sharing a lot of my knowledge in a way that hopefully is accessible and useful for you and many other people. And my holding of that belief is why not only I'm in the space that I'm in, which I absolutely love, but it's also why that just came out like a Freudian slip. So analyze your language during the day. When you talk about money, when you talk about how much you get paid or don't get paid and anything else related to it, look at the rational roots of the words that you say. And if you want more about this, please comment, please send me a direct message. It's a really fun topic. And my current URL is magicmoneyhealth.com. And as of this recording, it's under construction. It's going to be a really fantastic website when it's done. So money is and will be a core part of what we focus on, along with everything of magic, of learning of it and mastering it, and health. So speaking of which, what is health? Well, at the highest esoteric level, this world and your body is a manifestation of consciousness. What you expect, what you know, what you believe, you manifest. You believe your body ages, your body ages. You believe your skin is a certain color and tone, and that certain things like sun or lack of sun can change that. That's your experience. But we've seen there's a near infinite variety of skin colors, tones, sensitivity, and changeability in this world. And for those of us who can't change our skin fast enough or desirable enough through natural means, we'll get tattoos and change it even faster. If you want to time travel, by the way, like physical corporeal time travel, I recommend not getting tattoos. Taking away that side note, which we can discuss another time, what is my credibility with health? Well, I'll share with you 3 very short stories that are examples of experiences of me receiving education, training, and evidence and validation of my previous statement that health is affected by consciousness. So I have permission to say this from my dad. There was a period of time where he was on the operating table, and the kidney doctor, the nephrologist, said his kidneys stopped working. He may need dialysis for life. He may need it for months. He also could die. He said that to me and my mother, and we prepared for the worst, but hoped for the best. And he said also that he would be in surgery for several more hours. So my mom processed that, how she processed it, and she wanted her own space. And I processed it by first allowing my mind to say, well, you can't do anything, so work. And I was in college at the time, so I just did some homework. But I just had a knowing come over me right before I was, trying or even thinking of trying to focus, which I could have done something so mundane at that moment. And it was an awareness and a knowledge that essentially took over me. Ishvara came in, and it was, this doesn't have to be. He is well. He can be well. I hold in the belief and the knowing and the certainty of the kidneys functioning, fluids flowing, sewing up occurring, and a clean bill of health confirmed by that exact same physician. This is so. And that incident, that bit of magic, honestly might have taken another minute or two, but not much longer. There's different numbers given to how long a manifestation requires to take, between 17 seconds and 68 seconds. There's so many different systems. And not to get into them now, but about 15 minutes after that, the nephrologist comes back up from the elevator, and Mom gets a little concerned, like, why would he come up so soon? The surgery was supposed to go on for hours, and she was really expecting to hear that my dad had died. But the nephrologist said his kidneys just started mysteriously working about 10 minutes ago. We're sewing him up. We'll put him on a precautionary dialysis just based on what the book says to do, but he really won't need it. Or I think you said the word probably as a physician. You shouldn't really say future things with certainty. But he said, yeah, he probably won't need it, but we're doing it as a standard precaution, and he'll be just fine. And my mom had this huge relief, and I had more of this, yeah. And then, of course, my ego was like, yeah, magic worked. I did it. I healed my dad. Fuck yeah. Now, of course, in the moment of healing, I disappeared, and the healing was. But to me, that attachment to that was like, yeah, I did the right thing. And in a sense, that was true, because if I tried to force it or I couldn't step out of the way or I wasn't open or allowing for that, it wouldn't have happened. But, I am a cell in the body of the divine, and the divine took over at that moment. And I can say the same for you. Just as your heart has its own agency, it can function without your conscious awareness, you can have dominion over your heart. You can breathe certain ways, you can do certain activities, you can put things in your body, take things out of your body to change your heart's behavior. It has its own agency, but you have dominion over it. Same relationship with you and the divine. So we'll go deeper into that at another time. But if you can allow that to sink in and just trust that what must be will be, that will give you the first power, the first real power over your own health. Also, while understanding that there is a much greater amount of forces at work. Your current incarnation is one of thousands, along with everybody else on the planet. And regardless of what your ego or mind may want, people die, people get hurt, people feel pain, people choose at various levels of awareness to suffer. And until you demonstrate that you are God, embodied in every way, even though you are, then until you have full awareness of that, there's going to be things that happen that you may not want to happen. All the same, these bodies are very malleable. There were other examples. I think the strongest one was in my own body. I had chronic pain for about 12 years. It was really awful. It used to be if I sat down, it would hurt. I did a lot of improper lifting. I did a lot of martial arts excitedly, but messed up my body. And I had a lot of beliefs about pain, and I had some family programming about pain and suffering and the necessity of that. My grandma was in the Holocaust. She was sick my whole life. When one thing ended, another started. And while you could say that's complications, while you could say that's hypochondria, I just grew up with that and other examples. And so I just had all this pain, and I thought, I'll learn through pain. But after I learned magic was real, after I felt energy, after I was introduced to all these spiritual types of healing and had many other types of healing in my own life, I realized I don't need lower back pain anymore. I no longer require it to grow. I allow it to leave. And with a slight and subtle shifting, I put my hand on my lower back, did some Qigong, which I believed was required to heal. And that's all Qigong is a medium. It's a fabulous one. I highly recommend it. But it's just a medium for awareness, as are these bodies. And after that, my back started hurting. I'm sorry. See, the programming, a little bit of it's still there, the memories. After that, my back stopped hurting. And maybe there was a throb, like one last release or last, are you sure? Yeah, maybe my spirit made me say started because the accurate memory with any healing response, the wound has to leave through an access point. So I actually think it might have left, and as it was leaving, I felt that throb, and spirit was like, "Are you sure?" I'm like, "Yes, I'm sure." And so after I just let that throb out, and it stopped. And now I can have any unhealthy or healthy mixture of postures, any type of body movements, and I have no more lower back pain. I was popping 4 Aleve gel caps a day, which are one of the last things that I wanted to take, being into natural medicine and everything else, and having many natural medicine resources. And after that, I was back pain free. And I had done prolotherapy, I had done massage, I had done acupuncture, chiro, stretching, strength training, supplements, you name it. And what did it was that moment. There were other times when I had lots of pain from a sprained ankle and nothing helped except 2 minutes of, I am fine, and I know how to beat this. And if you're looking for validation in other sources, I mentioned a few resources for money. So the most powerful Western healer alive that I'm aware of is a man named William Bankston. Bankston was trained from a master who could heal open wounds in seconds, a man who could telekinetically affect the decay of radioisotopes, which was validated in labs, and Bankston's book, How Energy Healing Works, and The Energy Cure, and Bankston's the current organization he's president of, the Society for Scientific Exploration, has tons and tons and tons of resources showing, with different words, that consciousness affects material reality through health. Bankston is very well known and very highly funded for going to different schools like Brown and Indiana University and receiving piles of money and lab space for proving this. He'll get rats that are injected with a double lethal dose of cancer, do hands-on healing. The cancer will vanish. Photos I've seen show the tumors regressing and vanishing. And the mice and rats are vaccinated from cancer. Literally, they get injected again, they don't get it. And they're healthy, and they're moving around, and age and all the other variables don't matter too much. The big variable was if they've had chemo before, their healing response sometimes is lessened because poison or that which kills can interfere with life force. And that may be his belief, or that may be a universal law. But I've seen William Bankston, I've trained with him. He's a funny, irreverent guy, and the technique called image cycling also works for manifestation. So that simple technique, which I am at all not authorized to teach, but just to give a bit of a summary and a teaser for his book, you make a list of things that you want in life. You focus on one image with them, and when you have your hand on or intention on something to be healed, you focus those images on a selfish desire of want, get that excitement, and also 1 or 2 of those images is not just the healing, but full functionality. So your leg is bugging you, a friend's leg is bugging them. Imagine them doing acrobatics or parkour or running or whatever really extraordinary use of the body that represents the healing occurring. And that's a technique in a super simple nutshell. And if you do it well, and especially I highly recommend buying Bankston's stuff and listening to it and learning it, the other stuff on your list will start to manifest as well, which is cool. And for money, I'd recommend not seeing dollar amounts, but seeing what you want. If you want a house, if you want a car, if you want activities, if you want travel, there's infinite ways of doing those. And there are many forces active right now working on controlling the energy of money. So as long as you're open to, say, traveling the world on a scholarship as opposed to winning the lottery, as long as you're open to the method and how you receive, it'll really, really help your receiving, especially if you surrender to the thing actually happening. So we can go way deeper into these. I hope this was just a little bit of a teaser of my background, my experience, and a little bit of a preview and a few tools for what's possible and what you could do and how you can do it. As always, please share your thoughts, your feedback, your comments. If you see this on YouTube or Facebook, please subscribe, please like. Those are really, really helpful. And if you'd like to work one-on-one, if you'd like me to come speak, if you'd like a workshop, a journey, anything else, please reach out. I love teaching and scaling this stuff. And I am working on several classes on these topics along with others to go much deeper into detail. thank you so much for your time, attention, and gratitude. My high intention with this video is to help you realize your self-divine realization through magic, making spirituality fun again, seeing magic, playing with this reality however we want to play with it, of course relieving suffering, but also having joy and experiences that bring in joy. And I believe for many, definitely for me, that's the path of access to self-realization, to enlightenment in many of its forms. My long-term goal is to, and plan and intention is to build a new Atlantis on September 1st, 2041, a 10 million person advanced spiritual technological city. And it will be one of 4 new Atlantises started or built in this century. So again, thank you so very much. I wish you a happy, blessed day, and may you receive all of the benefits, joys, and abundant energies of magic, money, and health.